Hello, this is Fielder Hart, and this
Grant
is
Dazon.
of course. And today we're going to be reviewing a movie that we watched together on our senior trip, and it was a class bonding experience
It was.
because this movie was a horror movie, great to watch in groups, and it was also the worst movie of all time. Another great thing to watch in groups.
It's true.
So,
the movie we're critiquing is The Bye Bye Man. The Bye Bye Man is a horror suspense kind of movie that was released in 2018 by Stacy Tidal.
it's 2017. It was released in 2017, January.
2017. So the premise of The Bye Bye Man is that there's this antagonist, which is the bad guy. And in this, you're not supposed to say the Bye Bye Man, like the phrase the Bye Bye Man, because he'll make you go crazy and you'll kill a whole bunch of people. So in this movie, there's a group of, I believe, college students.
Three that
college
own
students.
a house together now.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
New house.
So it's Elliot, John, and Sasha. And Elliot is dating Sasha. And one night, they're like, Elliot and Sasha are sleeping together in a room. And Elliot wakes up and he sees... What does he see?
He sees, so for some reason, in his room of their new house, he for some reason owns a Grim Reaper coat.
Yeah.
Or he just didn't notice that it gets there. And he has this Grim Reaper coat on his wall. And it's inexplicable why he has this Grim Reaper coat or why he keeps it up. But he looks at it and he sees it in the corner of his room and he thinks that it's like, he thinks that there's like a monster in his room. But it just turns out to just be a coat that he for some reason owns.
I don't think we remember if before or after he sees the Grim Reaper coat, he sees the lampstand.
Yeah, so basically they then later, because apparently this house has something weird about it, right? You know, another horror movie trope. And they're having a college party at the house.
All right.
And for some reason, there's a little girl at the college party, and you already know, right, when you see the little girl, that she's going to wander around and do something dumb.
It's not good.
So she wanders off, another horror movie trope, and then she goes into the bedroom where the weird Grim Reaper coat is, and a coin falls off of this nightstand, right? And the girl bends over to pick it up, and then she puts the coin back up, and then she turns around, and then the coin falls off again. And then she bends over to pick it up. And then we're all like, oh, what's going to happen to this girl? But nothing happens to the girl.
It's true.
And then she walks over. And, of course, there's a tiny door on the side of the room that's little girl tall on both sides. Because why wouldn't there be? It's a horror movie. So she opens it. And you see another tiny door as she's peeking in open on the other side. So you're supposed to be like, oh, my gosh, what's living in this house at this point? But nothing bad happens to the girl.
Yeah,
she
it's
leaves
just
the
kind of
room.
like a somewhat like Fear Factor kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. But she goes in and then tells one of the... Oh, she tells her dad, who's at the party, which is Elliot's brother, older brother, who's taken care of him for a long time. She tells him that, like, oh, there's a little door, and he kind of pushes it away. And the movie goes on. And then this is the scene where Elliot and Sasha are sleeping together in the room. And Elliot wakes up during the night, and he sees the coat. And then, like, out of nowhere, I believe he looks away and then looks back at the coat. And then it's, like, this scary guy running at him. And then, I don't know, he just, like, freaks out.
Yeah. He tells his girlfriend.
Yeah,
his
and
girlfriend is just doesn't really care.
And then the coat that was there, like, is on the ground.
Yeah,
because they turned on the light.
He knows it wasn't completely, like, a dream or something.
Right. He knows something happened.
So then he looks at his nightstand later. He's just checking out his nightstand. And scribbled in the nightstand is the words, don't say it, don't think it, over and over and over again on a piece of paper in the nightstand. And when he peels back the nightstand's paper, it's revealed the words on the back of the nightstand drawer, the Bye Bye Man. Okay, that's important later if you didn't guess it. So then, naturally they have a psychic friend because it's a horror movie.
That's how it works.
And she just decides to have a seance to prove that she's a psychic because it's a horror movie. And, it's one of those classic psychic horror movie seance scenes where they're all holding hands and then she starts spazzing out.
Yeah,
she's like,
freaking out.
Oh, something's coming. And then she's like, Like, she just starts spazzing out. She's
Right.
like, he's saying, don't say it.
Right.
Don't think it. Oh, don't say it. Oh. Like, it's so dumb. And then he's like, oh, wait. She actually does know what he's talking about, what she's talking about, because he was doubting her psychic ability. And then he just says, the bye-bye man. And then all the lights shut off.
Yeah.
And the rest of the movie is these teens hallucinating like weird stuff that's trying to get them to kill themselves and kill each other.
Right.
Because for some reason, the words, these
Like
3 words, the bye-bye man,
man,
those 3 words are, you just instantly
it's like the cue for him to come in.
Yeah.
Like you're screwed.
He's waiting for you to say that. And there's no way to get out of it. That's
Yeah.
the crazy part.
Mhm.
If you accidentally say to your dad, bye-bye, man, you're screwed.
Yeah,
and
so-
you'll instantly die.
Without even knowing.
Yeah.
And I think the only way, like, we realize at the end of the movie, the only way to
defeat him
is like to
is to
kill
kill
yourself,
yourself.
because now you're not able to hurt other people.
by saying the bye-bye man.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So let's go over what this movie does well. Grant?
Okay, so what I think this movie does well is it adds some bit of a like fear and tension. Like there's a little like suspense
Towards the beginning.
Yeah, towards the
especially
beginning.
when you don't know what the threat is.
as you're trying to figure out who it is, but like I think it does a good job of like creating like a kind of different feel to a horror movie, where like instead of it's like trying to kill you, like even though it is trying to kill you, it makes you kill other people, so, which is I thought was kind of
it makes
interesting.
you the monster.
Right.
So like you're the one going crazy and
Yeah.
committing the crimes. It's not
Yeah.
him. So let's move on to all the stuff that the bye-bye man does really badly. So,
Okay, so this is a long list.
Yeah.
So the whole premise of like the bye-bye man, like don't say it, don't think it, which is like the whole, like the biggest phrase in the movie. It's like, don't say it, don't think it, because if you say it, you're gonna kill other people, and it's gonna make it worse. What is really interesting is that like throughout this movie, everyone's like trying to escape the bye-bye man, but like it's literally just words that they're saying that like kills other people.
The threat just feels stupid.
Yeah, it doesn't feel true.
It doesn't make any sense that saying the words the bye-bye man, there's now no escape from you murdering your friends and having to kill yourself.
Yeah.
So that's just an interesting thing. And that kind of ruins a lot of what this movie does well. Because there's this scene where so a detective is interviewing the main character and she's trying to get him to say whether or not he killed his friend who got hit by a train, because she had hallucinated that there were people that needed to be helped on the railroads, but a train came and hit her, right? And they thought that maybe he killed her. So she's like, tell me what killed him. And he's like, I can't say it. It's so bad, right? And like the scene is actually done really well. The interrogation scene, that's like one of probably the best scene in the movie. And he makes like a really great analogy, because she says the truth will always be good. The truth will always set you free. But he replies with like, well, you know, if you went to a school and saw a shooting, would you come home and tell your kid the truth about what you saw and scar them for life too? Or would you keep it to yourself and tell them that your day was great? And it's like a really great analogy. And then you remember that it's just the words, the bye-bye man. And you just think, what am I watching right now?
Exactly.
He's making all these, like, it's like this meaningful moment. It's like the threat that he is keeping from her. It's not a gory shooting. It's literally the bye-bye man.
It's literally her saying words.
Yes,
like,
and then it instantly screws all of society. It's crazy.
Right.
So,
So some other filming kind of things that we thought were kind of stupid were in the very end of the bye-bye man is not that scary when you look at his face. Like he has kind of a like, oh, you could see how it could be scary, but like it's not really that scary. And he has a dog.
It just looks like a guy in like white makeup.
Yeah, and like defined cheekbones and like dark eyes
in like a Grim Reaper costume. Yeah. So it's not even like Scream, because of the mask, actually is kind of scary to look at. Same with like the nun masks. But this is like, it's literally just looks like a really white guy.
It looks like it was painted on his face.
Yeah, it just looks like face paint. Yeah. So
another thing we thought was weird with the filming was the Grim Reaper, I'm sorry. The Bye Bye Man has a dog that you don't really know about in the whole movie.
Except for the very end.
But someone somewhere says something about, when you hear his dog...
You know he's coming.
Yeah, you know he's coming. So, which didn't really make sense.
Didn't make sense. The dog was completely CGI, and it looked like a PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah.
And it completely... Okay, because we were watching this in a group with all the seniors in my class, and the girls were actually still afraid at this point. Right when they saw the dog, all like the immersion in the film is just completely thrown out because it's so ugly and stupid looking.
It's so bad.
I have never seen CGI this bad in a movie ever. It ruined the whole movie for anyone that was still interested.
However, it did have some like kind of an interesting part in the movie was at the very end. There's a fight scene between Elliot's friend and his girlfriend, because it's really weird because Elliot's friend thinks that Sasha is the psychic girl from the beginning, and she's like covered in blood.
So
and,
he thinks he's seeing a zombie that wants to hurt him.
Yeah. And
she thinks that she's seeing her boyfriend in just the normal friend that lives with them, and they are so afraid of each other that they just start fighting. And this is like a really good plot twist, right?
Yeah, it is. Because Elliot comes in and they're fighting.
He sees them fighting.
Yeah, and
then he sees his girlfriend say, "Help, shoot him," to the friend that's been living with them, right? So he tackles him to the ground and shoots him. And then you realize that he had also been hallucinating because he just shot his girlfriend.
Yeah.
But the audience doesn't know that until the body rolls off of him.
Yeah. And the camera goes onto the body.
Yeah.
And like, what?
Oh my gosh, he killed his girlfriend instead of the friend who the girlfriend had just killed, basically.
Yeah. So in the end, all of them die.
Yeah, he kills himself in front of the Bye Bye Man.
Yeah. So now no one else can say it.
Yeah, that's the one way to defeat the Bye Bye Man.
So it's like a happy ending for people, but not really. It's just like, oh, dang it. They're gone.
It's just a really unsatisfying movie.
Yeah.
Because when you go into a horror movie, you want to be scared, right? And for like the first few minutes of the movie, like you're kind of afraid of what's going to happen. But like it slowly just relieves the tension, especially by showing you the Bye Bye Man himself.
Exactly.
When they showed you the Bye Bye Man, they played non-scary music. It was like do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
It was like supposed to make him look cool.
Yeah.
And I was just like, why? The whole point of a horror movie is like the suspense, not knowing what the threat is.
Exactly.
And they just kept revealing what the threat was and saying it out loud, vocalizing it. Because a great thing about horror movies is like when the audience is trying to piece together what's happening. Like, oh my gosh, you know, what are the cues that make the monster come? You know, is he going to do something wrong? But when they just say outright, okay, so this is how you trigger his coming, and this is exactly what he looks like, and you just keep seeing him over and over again, and there's a complete lack of darkness too. A lot of this movie takes place during the daytime.
Yeah.
And for a horror movie, that is really, it's incompetent because you can see everything that's happening during the daytime. So there's no tension for most of the movie. And the few night scenes that happen aren't that scary.
Right.
They're not long enough to be scary.
Yeah.
The movie only runs for, I think, an hour and 20 minutes. It's barely a feature-length film. It just feels incompetent for a horror movie.
It feels like there could have been potential, but it was misused because I think they missed opportunities. Like Filder was saying, I feel like if they were to show the Bye Bye Man at the very end, like before a climax of the movie or like the ending, it would have made it more suspenseful.
Yeah.
And the light factor really kind of messed up the whole. Yeah.
And they also showed him in a flashback before you ever met him as a threat. Yeah. And when you show the threat in a flashback in a horror movie and you see exactly what it looks like it takes the entire point of a horror movie is waiting to see the horror monster. Yeah. And you saw him in a flashback before he had actually killed
beginning.
Yeah, at the very beginning. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. It's it doesn't make sense. There's also a lot of imagery connected to the Bye Bye Man, like, you know, because horror movies try to create lore and like a universe surrounding it. How did this come to be? How did this threat, you know, rise up? What triggered it? You know, usually there's like some sort of killing event or haunting that happens. So in this movie, the most they dive into that, which is interesting, is they just talk about all these cues and things associated with him. So there's a lot of train imagery, right? For some reason, there's a lot of train imagery, and they say when you hear a coin, when you hear his dog, that's when he's coming, and when you hear the train. So sometimes they hallucinate a train. Like, a train is one of the things that kills one of their friends, because she hallucinates someone on the tracks, tries to save them, the psychic girl, and then she gets hit by a train. But, you know, when you're given these things, like a coin, a train, there's supposed to be a reason that these are the cues, not just that they are. You know, they're supposed to give you some sort of backstory for the Bye Bye Man, like, oh, maybe the Bye Bye Man used to be a living thing, but then like he tried to pick up a train or a coin on a train track and died, and like they could have braked or something. You know, that's why he's haunting everything. But they give no explanation like that. They just say these are the cues. You never find out why is the Bye Bye Man doing this.
Right.
Just because you said the words, it's just because
so
you say the words the Bye Bye Man. He's not getting revenge for anything, or like there's no backstory where like, oh, he had a childhood bully and he would call him the Bye Bye Man and bully him or anything. It's literally just you say the words the Bye Bye Man, coins start flipping, maybe you'll hear a train, not always, and then you'll just die, and a CGI dog comes out and eats you.
Yeah,
it's just
it doesn't connect to like a reasoning system.
It seems honestly like things were like cut down or removed from the movie, because they set up all these cues and all these images associated with him, and they never explore it fully at all.
Yeah, and in the very beginning of the movie, actually before the like the current time, it goes
from
to
1969.
1969 in like Indiana, I believe. It's somewhere in the Midwest.
Or it's Wisconsin.
Okay.
Wisconsin.
So there's this guy with glasses, and he's just walking around his little neighborhood, and he's like, don't think it, don't say it. And he's going to different individuals' houses that he knows, and he goes like, did you say it?
Did you tell anybody?
Yeah, did you tell anybody?
And then when they say no, he kills them.
Right.
But if they say yes, he goes to those people's houses that they told and kills them. But it's shot, A, in broad daylight.
Yeah.
B, with bad acting.
Yeah.
The guy is like, I can act it as well as him. He's like, tell me, did you tell anyone?
Oh, dang it.
No, dang it. Boom. And like, it's not scary. We were kind of laughing when it was happening.
We didn't know.
We didn't know
it was in a different movie, honestly.
Yeah. We didn't know what we were supposed to be feeling. We didn't know if we were supposed to be feeling fear, or we were supposed to be feeling bad for these people, or like afraid, like, you know, like those classic mass shooting scenes that you see, and you're supposed to like feel fear. Like, we didn't know what we're supposed to be seeing or feeling during this scene. And it was overexposed. Yeah. The shot was overexposed, but that's besides the point.
So overall, the Bye Bye Man lived up to its ratings. It got really bad ratings overall.
I got a 1 out of 5 by Common Sense Media.
Yep.
It got a 20% Rotten Tomatoes. It's really interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, we'd even heard that it wasn't like a great movie.
Well, we knew. We thought it would be a so bad it's good movie, and that's why we watched it. But that's another problem. It wasn't bad enough to be funny.
Yeah, it was like...
There's movies like The Room,
right,
and The Incredible Bulk, and those movies are so bad and so poorly done that it's funny. But you can tell that this movie was trying to be something else. It was trying to be scary.
Yeah. And
it just failed at its objective. You know, it didn't accidentally do something that wasn't planned. It just didn't do what it wanted to do well. So that's why I give this movie a 2 out of 10.
I give it a 3 out of 10.
Dang, Grant.
Yeah.
Just because you got scared.
No, it wasn't scary.
Okay, well, I guess that's our project, unless we need to add more. Goodbye.
Thank you.